Welcome back to Healthy Living on Supreme Master Television. We're here in the studio with Valya Boutenko, co-author of Eating Without Heating. Valya, once your family had been raw for about 4 years, I understand that they went on a very interesting journey.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that journey?
Yes, sometimes we refer to it as the Little Walk. We actually hiked from the Mexican border to the Canadian border. It's called the Pacific Crest Trail, goes through the wilderness. It's 2,623 miles long, something along those lines. It took us 6 months to take this hike. We initially took it on because wherever we went, whatever we read, whichever hikers we talked to, they all said it was impossible to survive in the wilderness on a natural diet, oddly. And they all believed it was impossible because you just had to eat a really concentrated diet. And
what would be in the diet that they thought you needed to eat?
Well, they said lots of sweets, lots of candy, lots of cooked heavy beans and things like that. And we decided to prove them wrong, basically, because we came to find that humans are also natural animals, and why wouldn't they be able to survive? Not only did we survive, but we seemed to thrive on the trail. I guess I would say that I felt better, healthier there than anywhere else so far in my life. We ate a diet of 60% wild edibles while we hiked. It was quite the experience.
You gathered the edibles on your way?
Right off the trail.
How did you know what to eat and what not to eat?
We had some books at first. The only thing is, in books about wild edibles, the pictures are very deceiving.
That's right.
Because the size of the plant, like a wild carrot and hemlock, they look identical, except hemlock is a lot taller, and there's just some really subtle differences. Hemlock is a poisonous plant that can kill you, so we stayed away from the carrots and hemlock. But basically we just got really hungry and decided that we had to either learn how to eat wild edibles or starve. So we started testing them out on my father, who was the biggest, strongest one of us all. And you just see, how do you feel? What's going on? You experience anything funny, tingling sensations? And, you know, I would say that, oddly, to my surprise, most of the things in the forest are edible. And not only that, but they're far more nutritious than anything we can buy in the stores.
Can you share with us some of the interesting things that you ate while you were on your trip, on your journey?
Yeah, once we were walking through some swampy terrain and we found wild cranberries. But these cranberries were sweet. So I still haven't found out completely, but I'm pretty sure that cranberries are supposed to be sweet and we just eat them unripe, which is why they're sour. But they were very sweet and delicious. Tons of wild berries and all kinds of unexpected fruits, apple trees, all over the trail.
So you said about 60% was foraged food.
Yes.
What did you do for the other 40%?
We had some rolled oats with us in our backpacks, some dried fruits, and some nuts. Basically, that was it. We also, at the beginning, like whenever we'd cross through a town, we'd buy some fresh vegetables, some cucumbers and avocados and things. But those didn't last very long and they were heavy, so we didn't eat much of those.
So how about water? What did you do for water on the trail?
Well, we started off with a really expensive filter that broke the third time we used it. So talking to some other hikers, we found out that filters did break really easily and they were pretty much useless. We just learned how to find clean water. And
Could you tell? How can you tell clean water versus non-clean water?
By the taste. If you take a little sip of the water, eventually we acquired a very sharp taste for what was clean water and what wasn't.
So, I understand that while you were out there, you also gathered some water in the middle of the desert from some cactus?
Yes. We went through all kinds of terrain, sometimes in the same day, from snow to desert. And in the desert, as you know, there are no good sources of water. Right. And when you run out of water, there's nothing you can do. Well, cactuses, most of which are edible, if not all, are 90% water. They're just filled with water. And what we figured out was if you peel them and just chew the pulp, it's full of water. So we actually ate a barrel cactus one of the days when we just had no water and no other choice. It was actually pretty good.
It sounds like, and were there other things? I thought like a flower?
A yucca flower, also a common desert plant, is also rich in water. Very delicious. The flowers are highly edible.
Now, I understand that while you were on your journey, you met a man who was about to commit suicide.
Yeah, we were actually visiting a hot springs, and my brother ran into this man in the bushes, and he said, like, what are you doing here? And he said, I've come to commit suicide because my son is out of control, and there's nothing I can do. I feel so helpless. I've decided to just end it. My brother told him that when he was 9, before he changed to a raw foods diet, he also experienced lots of mood swings and unbalanced energy levels. So he started telling him about raw foods, and he brought him to our campground where we all talked to him about raw foods, and he went home and put his son on a raw food diet.
Getting him away from the chemicals that he was eating in his diet.
Exactly. And all of the preservatives and pesticides that come with a lot of the foods that people eat. We got a letter from them 2 weeks later. He said that there's been a complete turnaround. His son is doing great. He's turned into a very well-balanced, loving being, and it just reunited their family.
And I understand that you didn't use hiking boots on the trail. Is that right?
That's right. We wanted to be as close to the earth as possible, so we hiked the entire trail in sandals. Even when it was snowing, we found that it was somehow easier because boots are so heavy and they cause all kinds of blisters and problems with the feet because the feet don't breathe and all this stuff. So we just walked in sandals. Sometimes we walked barefoot.
Wow. Can you tell us a little bit about what you learned from the journey?
Well, I never expected to feel so comfortable with having practically nothing except the clothes on my back, a tent, and a little bit of food, and just feeling so secure.
Thanks very much. We're going to go outside and have a few sweet cranberries, and we'll be right back.